From inside Ralph Engelstad Arena, it's time for North Dakota Hockey with Dave Hakstol. I'm your host, Dan Hammer. On tonight's show, it's Frozen 4 week. North Dakota Boston bound for the national semifinals that begin on Thursday. On tonight's show, we'll review the season. It's been 6 months since the season opener. We'll recap North Dakota's trek to the Frozen 4. Midco SN hockey analyst Scott Koberinski joins us to take a closer look at Boston U and more prep as UND is bound for the Frozen 4. Coach, good to be back with you again. It's been a week now since your team got back to work. At this time of the year, when you're working toward the Frozen 4, you're working more on opponent-specific material?
No, it's still a focus on our own team. Obviously, we're preparing and making sure we understand some of the details of the game of our opponent, but it still comes back to our performance, our play, and our readiness when you get to this time of year. How
would you describe the mindset of your hockey team in the past week and as you look forward to Thursday night?
Well, I think we're a group that's very even keel right now. Very focused on the job at hand. Excited to be at the rink and be working. Just inside of that locker room, it's a group of guys that's just going about their daily business.
A couple of your seniors described it as business yet casual, combination of a mindset.
Well, I think that doesn't describe our team just at this time of year. That describes our team right from back in fall camp, and that's one of the real critical things at this time of year. You're not going to try to change your personality or any of the things you're doing. We're trying to sharpen our focus, make sure the detail is good, but most importantly, make sure that mentally and physically we're fresh, excited, and ready to go.
Mm-hmm. This is your 7th Frozen appearance in 11 years as head coach. Each one I know is individually different. What is it about this Frozen 4 for you that makes it especially important?
Well, it always for me is about the players and the team, and the building that these guys have done throughout the year. Our players have put in an awful lot of work. Obviously, the staff in and around them, the group of people that I have a chance to work with every day have put in so much. That's what it's always about. It's about the group that's getting ready to go to the next portion of this tournament. And that's the exciting thing with this group. We really think a lot of the leadership from top to bottom, and we'll be set and ready to go heading out to Boston.
We'll talk a little BU later in the show, Dave, but coming up next, we'll review the season that began the first week of October.
North Dakota Hockey with Dave Hakstol on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sioux Shop at Ralph Engelstad Arena, the Greater Grand Forks Convention and Visitors Bureau, Indian Triumph of Fargo, and by Hot Spring Spas and Pool Tables too.
UND has avoided the valleys this season. It's been a pretty darn consistent season from the opening weekend. Here's a season review. Following an opening season loss to Bemidji State, UND rebounded, going undefeated in its next 8 games. At Colorado College in mid-October, UND gave the NCHC a preview of things to come, sweeping the Tigers behind a 7-point weekend from Mark McMillan. Later in October, the Ralph was the site for a non-conference top 5 showdown. UND number 3 at the time, Providence number 5. UND rolled 6-1 in the series opener, while the team skated to a 2-2 tie in the series finale. UND would be perfect in non-conference play following the Providence tie, but not without a close call against Air Force. UND trailed until Drake Kajula's game-tying goal with less than a minute to play, and then won the game in overtime.
Will carry ahead. Final 14 seconds of the overtime session. Parks carries into the zone. Parks and Chiswick 2-on-1. Chiswick scores!
UND split its next 2 NCHC series, at home against Miami and a road series at St. Cloud State. On November 15th against Miami, Drake Kajula turned in another one of his highlight reel goals.
Kajula moving in on Politis. What a move! Oh my! Oh my! What a goal by Drake Kajula! Oh boy! Oh boy! The man has created some top 10 plays in his career. Maybe none better than that.
4 conference games with Omaha were all tight. On Thanksgiving weekend in the Ralph, UND took 4 of 6 points thanks to a Saturday night win and a shorthanded goal. At the time, it was UND's nation's best 8th shorty of the year. UND then closed out the first half of the season, sweeping Lake Superior State and splitting with Denver. The team went to the holiday break with a 13-4-2 record. UND made a major move toward winning the NCHC regular season championship during the month of February. It played 6 league games, won 5, and tied 1. Kajula produced another highlight reel goal on Valentine's night.
Kajula moving in. Another highlight reel goal by Drake Kajula.
UND controlled its own destiny heading into the final 4 games of the regular season. On the final weekend in February, UND swept St. Cloud State, achieving goal number 1, home ice for the first round of the playoffs.
You want every edge you can in playoffs. I mean, anything could happen with how good these teams are, and to have that home ice on your back pocket is huge.
A week later, UND went to Oxford, Ohio. It entered the series opener knowing a win would clinch the Penrose Cup. In a physical Friday showdown with the Redhawks, North Dakota built a 2-0 lead after the opening 22 minutes. It held a 2-1 lead throughout the final minutes of the game, and Zane McIntyre slammed the door. North Dakota had won the Penrose Cup.
This week we got to focus on coming and winning this trophy, and that's what we did. But we're not done yet. We want more, and we're hungry for more.
After losing each game in the NCHC Frozen Face-Off, UND made the short trip to Fargo as the #1 seed in the West region. Shields Arena provided a big-time home ice environment. UND beat Quinnipiac in the regional semifinals. It was a short-handed goal that broke the back of the Bobcats, with Troy Stetcher and Drake Kajula teaming up. UND moved within a game of the Frozen Four. A familiar foe stood in the way as UND looked for the return trip to the Frozen Four. An electric Shields Arena crowd watched UND rally from an early deficit against St. Cloud State. Drake Kajula's second period goal was the eventual game winner. UND turned in one of its top defensive games of the season and punched its ticket to the Frozen Four. And the biggest reason that North Dakota has stretched its season to the Frozen Four, Zane McIntyre. One of the greatest seasons already to this point that any North Dakota goaltender has enjoyed. McIntyre, the first UND goaltender to win 25 games in the regular season. He leads the nation in wins. He's faced more shots than anybody in the NCHC, and he's the Hobey Baker hat trick finalist and a finalist for the Mike Richter Award. Here's McIntyre and his teammates on the work that he puts in behind the scenes.
He works his bag off. He does everything he can to get better. He's in the gym and doing all sorts of extra things, and it's the little things that people don't necessarily see. I know I live with him, so I see a lot of things. He's watching film at home, or he's talking to Carl about different techniques and stuff that he needs to work on after he lets in one goal. Even if we win 5-1, he still wants to know how can he stop that one goal.
There's so many aspects of it that you almost have to just be a student of the game, just be knowledgeable about your position, and really just love it, because that's where you find out you have more success is when you're fully invested and doing all the little things right.
He just maintains that learning attitude every day, and there's no secret. That's why he's had success. He comes to work, puts in his time, and he's always looking to improve.
Coming up next, Coach Hakstol returns as we take a closer look at Boston University.
North Dakota Hockey with Dave Hakstol on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sioux Shop at Ralph Engelstad Arena, the Greater Grand Forks Convention and Visitors Bureau, Indian Triumph of Fargo, and by Hot Spring Spas and Pool Tables too.
Boston University, the youngest team in the country, but also one of the highly skilled teams in the country. Here's Greg Ankers with more.
Boston University, like North Dakota, is in familiar territory, heading into their 22nd trip to the Frozen Four. And getting to this point has been in the Terriers' vision all season long.
I think we felt as a staff after week 2 or 3 and getting an idea of what the rest of college hockey looked like, that we had a chance to compete for a national championship, which is really all you can ask for, because once you get in the national tournament, anything can happen. You're in one-game situations.
Boston is a top-heavy team. 60% of their goals come from 4 individuals: Jack Eichel, Evan Rodriguez, Danny O'Regan, and Ati Oxenen. North Dakota is expecting to provide special awareness to those key players.
I think the biggest thing is just being aware when they're on the ice. They're great hockey players. They play really well together. We just have to be a little harder, maybe be a little more defensively sound, but also if we get a chance to make them play defense, I think that's something that our team can do.
But BU's strength can also translate into a weakness, something UND is hoping to expose on Thursday night.
We have 4 lines, 6D, and the best goaltender in the nation. You know, there's some teams they have, just like this team we're playing, BU, they have 1 line that they expect to score and probably get 2-3 goals a game for them. We have 4 lines that we expect to score.
The X factor may be the environment. North Dakota capitalized on a partisan crowd last weekend in Fargo to make it to the Frozen Four. Now the tables are turned as they ready to battle the Terriers in their own backyard.
Obviously we've had a pretty good amount of success this year at the Garden, so it would be nice to get back on familiar ice, and I'm sure the guys will be really excited to be back in that environment.
As a team, we're excited. You know, we've always had, almost more fans, home fans at away games than, the other team has their fans. So it's going to be new for us, and we're excited for it. We're going to feed off the negative energy, and hopefully quiet the crowd.
Dave, number 1, number 2, Thursday night, national semifinals, BU. What's your impression of the Terriers?
Well, obviously any team that's still playing at this time of year is a good team, and without getting into any specifics, Boston University is outstanding in all areas of their game. As they've built through their season, they've had a ton of success. They won their league championship, their league playoff championship, and they came through a tough regional. So this is a team that is battle-tested, playing on their home ice, where they've already played 4 games. With probably a pretty good advantage crowd-wise. It's a great challenge, and our team will be ready for that, Dan.
Do you enjoy game planning, Dave, for your hockey team and what it does against certain opponents, again, when you're in a 1-game situation like the Frozen Four?
Well, again, the 1-game situation doesn't make a lot of difference. It's obviously everybody knows what's on the line at this time of year. They know the scenario. It's just about getting ready to go out and play. And I think, our entire staff and team have enjoyed the preparation process. Our group of guys in the room have done a very good job of it, and been good in terms of attention to detail and effort. And that sets up very well as we go into this matchup.
You mentioned you won't get into specifics, but I'm sure internally you have a checklist in terms of those type of things that you'll need to do well Thursday night to win the hockey game.
Well, there's going to be an awful lot of things that we need to do well, and it's going to come back to the drop of the puck and our readiness to get after our game and play the way we play. BU is a real good team in all 3 zones. Offensively, they're outstanding. They've got guys on that roster that can get up and go throughout the lineup. We're going to have to be very good without the puck, and when we do have the puck, we're going to have to be hard on it and good with it.
All right, a week of opportunity, Dave. Good luck at the Frozen Four. We'll talk more with you here as we make the trek to Boston the next couple days, and we'll recap, of course, all of the Frozen Four next week on the show. Good luck.
Thank you. Look forward to it. We will.
We'll have more next year on North Dakota Hockey with Dave Hakstol.
North Dakota Hockey with Dave Hakstol on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sous Shop at Ralph Engelstad Arena, the Greater Grand Forks Convention and Visitors Bureau, Indian Triumph of Fargo, and by Hot Spring Spas and Pool Tables too.
Midco Sports Network UND hockey analyst Scott Koberinski is here. Kober, what'd you do there? You deliver a strong check in the corner?
I wish. No, I had a little surgery on my bicep, and hopefully I'll be
back in top form so I can get on the golf course in August.
There you go. Well, you heard Coach. He is not wanting to get into the specifics of the matchup. Of course, we respect that. But you've done some homework here. You've been looking at BU. First of all, your overall impression of BU.
Well, BU is a very good hockey team. Of course, winning their division and their playoffs. They're a good hockey team to get where they've got to at this point. They've got outstanding forwards. They've got a lot of depth. They've got a big, strong goaltender, and they like to get to the net. So that's a success that they've had. It reminds me a little bit of the North Dakota team, so it should be a good matchup.
60% of their goals have been scored by 4 guys. 3 of those 4 on the same line: Jack Eichel, Rodriguez, and Danny O'Regan. What will be UND's approach to that line in particular?
Well, they're going to have to, know when those guys are out on the ice, obviously. But they've been battle tested all season long, playing in the top, league in the country, the NCHC. They have those type of players every night. So again, I don't think it's going to change their mindset. They're going to go about their business. But those guys definitely are something that you're going to have to pay attention to.
North Dakota will have last change. Will they try to create some matchups that they think will be beneficial to them?
Well, I think so. I think they're going to have, probably on the defensive side of the puck, they're going to probably have 4 guys that they want on the ice when the Eichel line is on the ice. So look for that matchup. Also, I don't think they're going to be too cautious. They're going to play their game. Like Dave Hakstol always worries about his team. And again, he wants their guys to play in the offensive zone. I think if they can do that, they're going to have some success.
Is UND the deeper team?
I think so. I think you look at, they've played 4 lines all season long, and BU, the last time they played, I think they only went with 10 forwards. So look for North Dakota's depth to have an impact on the game.
Couple 3 things, in your opinion, that are must-dos if North Dakota is going to win the hockey game.
Number 1, stay out of the box.
Yeah.
BU has top-end skill.
25% power play.
Yeah, and again, Eichel, one of the Hobey Baker candidates, he's got 67 points. It's a lot of points. So you want to keep him off the ice and have him, not touch the puck. Number 2, you got to play in their end. You got to make their defensemen work. And then number 3, you got to defend very well in front of your own net.
So there you go. We've heard Coach all year long talk about make teams defend us. So that certainly will be another one of the keys come Thursday, right?
Right. And I know North Dakota will be ready to go. Again, I think their 4 lines and their defense, the way they activate and get involved in the offense, will be a real key for North Dakota against BU.
All right. And Omaha Providence, quick prediction on that one with Dean Blaze taking his first Omaha team to the Frozen Four.
Well, you never want to bet against a Dean Blaze team when it comes down to it. Providence is playing very well. I'm going to pick Omaha in that one.
All right. Sounds good, Kober. Thanks for your time. And we'll be back and hear from the players on their mindset here heading toward the Frozen Four.
North Dakota Hockey with Dave Hakstol on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sioux Shop at Ralph Ingolstadt Arena, the Greater Grand Forks Convention and Visitors Bureau, Indian Triumph of Fargo, and by Hot Springs Spas and Pool Tables too.
Inside the UND locker room, players will tell you that the mindset is a bit different to this trip to the Frozen Four than a year ago. Players said a year ago they were happy to be at the Frozen Four. This year, even since the end of last year's Frozen Four, it's been a businessman-like approach. North Dakota's internal goal from day one has been to get to the Frozen Four and win the national championship. It's the mindset that carried over even from UND winning the regional and punching its ticket to Boston.
Business but loose. I think that's kind of the way our team is. We keep it light, and at the same time, it's all business. It's all mentality. It's a focus, and we got to play with an edge. And that's the way our team plays. That's the way we play when we're at our best. So we got to keep that going.
I think this year the feeling in the locker room is a lot more a job not done, and still the process to our end goal here.
I remember thinking I wanted to play in a Frozen Four and compete for national championship every year, and to have that chance 2 years in a row is pretty special. And we're definitely going to try to take advantage of it this time around.
We know that many of you are Boston bound this week, and of course, you're going to be seeking out some of the best restaurants in Boston, a great food city. Who better to ask than North Dakota senior defenseman Andrew Panzarella? Both his parents grew up in nearby Providence. Panzarella has been a frequent visitor to the city, and here's his tip on one place that you won't want to miss.
I think Mike's Pastries is on the list there. That's probably it's one of those landmark institutions you have to go to. Maybe get some cannolis from there. Faneuil Hall, a bunch of restaurants in there, kind of family atmosphere, kind of town hall meeting style. So there's plenty of places to find.
North Dakota does have some history in Boston at the Frozen Four. The date, 1963. North Dakota wins its second national championship when the Frozen Four was held at Midco Arena on Chestnut Hill. That building no longer exists on the campus of Boston College. And many years later, North Dakota returns to Boston for the Frozen Four. It kicks off Thursday afternoon at TD Garden. Omaha and Providence play in the first national semifinal game. North Dakota and BU, 7:30 Central Time. But before that, make sure you tune in to Midco Sports Network at 7 on Thursday evening for our Frozen Four special from Boston. We'll take a closer look at Zane McIntyre's incredible season. Drake Kazula will sit down and walk us through some of his most electrifying goals. And we'll dig into the matchup, North Dakota and Boston U, as UND returns to the Frozen Four in quest of its 8th national championship. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Thursday night at 7 from Boston.